Up next, Demon Knights, the magic book of one of the magic books, I should say, of the DC titles. By the way, check the color coding on these. You'll see what books are sort of connected or what part of the DCU they're from. These are from the dark side. So Demon Knights, old school magic, age of or post Camelot.
Yep.
So you get Etrigan, you get Shining Knight, you get Madame Xanadu, you get Mordru. It's all the magic characters back in the day.
As well as Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage is... This is one of my favorite interpretations of Vandal Savage.
Yeah.
You know he's been around a long time, but this is pretty cool that he's just a savage and a vandal. And that's how he got his name, it looks like.
I was really impressed with how they were able to weave different characters and stories that have existed in the DCU all together, making it seem, cohesive. I hope it finds a viewership.
I do too. It's definitely worth the read. There's some humor in this book as well. I really like when Etrigan shows up at the bar and Madame Xanadu is like, all I wanted was a quiet pint. It's pretty great.
The art is very nice.
The art is very nice. It's good to see Shining Knight be Morrison's Shining Knight from Seven Soldiers, which is pretty great. Shining Knight's a girl. Spoilers. And then the first appearance of the archer on horseback.
Yeah.
Who... if you've read online, is a redhead that cannot walk. Much like Oracle was, but not anymore. So that's interesting to me that they have a character that is paraplegic.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting back in that day. How do you deal with it? You ride a horse all the time.
Yeah, I think it's a good book. I'm trying to find, do you think it's accessible to a new reader?
It is accessible to a new reader if that new reader, if you, the new reader, like the magic stuff, like Lord of the Rings, and like that stuff. Okay. If you're on board with that, if Game of Thrones, if you're on board with that kind of stuff, this is what you'll be on board with. You'll pick it up and read it. I do recommend everybody pick it up. It's a pretty good book.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of Frankenstein and Demon Knights, I mean, I know they're different, but...
It's apples and magic apples.
Yeah, magic apples.
Up next, Red Lanterns. Both of us already, before this started, said that we may be lanterned out after Blackest Night and Brightest Day and the War of the Avatars, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Sinestro
Corps War. I might be lanterned out. Great. What are you doing to my cat?
My favorite line of the week.
His line of the week. You get the story of Atrocitus and how he may have, I'm going to use a wrestling term here, may have lost his smile this week in this book. He really doesn't, now that Krona's gone and that he's the guy that wrecked his planet, oh, what do I have to be angry about anymore? I'm just not that rage-filled anymore.
Yeah.
And the rest of the Red Lanterns kind of noticed that.
I enjoyed the book. Again, I was worried that I was all lanterned out. But I felt that the voice of Atrocitus seemed a little uneven. And by that, I mean, there was so much good in the book, but when he's talking about Kronos, he's referring to it almost like a lover. And I think that...
He says that!
He does. He does say that, and I think it works better when you're referring to Batman and the Joker as lovers, because they're always in this dance.
Yeah, we haven't known Atrocitus long enough to have that kind of connection with him.
And, he's supposed to be this, this angry badass, full of rage, and I don't know if the characterization worked for me in those moments.
Yeah, it was kind of ho-hum for me. There was a lot of action, but also a lot of standing around, like, a lot of flashback and a lot of standing around and pontificating and inner thoughts.
That was it. The inner thoughts, the pontificating. I was surprised. You're going to get inner thoughts in a rage book?
Well, I hope the rest of the books aren't like that.
I mean, Dexter was amazing.
Oh, all cat, all the way, Dexter.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, am I all lanterned out? No.
It turns out we're not with Green Lantern. Please, go right ahead.
Okay, so first off, I hate to say this, but I thought the Green Lantern movie was terrible. And that was kind of the start of me going, okay, I think I've had enough Green Lantern. I have not. Jeff and Doug do an amazing job on this book. Everything's fresh. You see Hal Jordan as a screw-up. He hasn't been Green Lantern for a while. It's funny. His relationship with Carol is bang on, and he's oblivious as ever.
But I've said to Andrew many times, my favorite episode of any TV show is The Day Off, where, the superhero isn't the superhero for a day, and he has to deal with real life. Hal comes home, he's getting evicted, he's got tons of bills, he's got no money, he can't go to the ATM, he's got no money. This is an awesome thing to see. Hal's been fighting fighting in space for so long. Now he's got to deal with the problems on Earth. And this isn't, let's make Superman walk across the United States. No. This is, okay, buddy, you're not in space anymore. Time to deal with the real things.
And he's not dealing too well.
Not at all. And not only that, but Sinestro is still Sinestro wearing a Green Lantern ring.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing. I mean, Jeff does a great job. Mankey is always amazing on the art.
Yep.
A pickup for us.
For sure, pickup.
I think that in this week, I felt that the A-listers kind of stole the show. I don't know how you feel, but I think the A-listers
I thought Mr. Terrific stole the show.
Okay.
And up next, Batwoman. My very first foray into a Bat title in a long time. Batwoman did not disappoint me. I don't know anything about these Bat characters, especially Batwoman. She's very new. Only what I read online, she's a lesbian. So I read it, and I really enjoy it. The artwork's great. The story's great. It catches me up on almost every Batwoman story that's happened so far.
There's a lot of information in this. I mean, I've read all of the Batwoman books.
But I wasn't overloaded. I was very interested.
And that's the sign of a good storyteller.
Absolutely. And then, personally for me, Batman shows up and ruins the whole thing. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he ruins it. I mean, it did say it almost felt like they needed to end it on a cliffhanger, but it's not.
It's not a cliffhanger, and he just shows up and goes, I have a proposition for you, to be continued. Well, no kidding. No, you thought it was only one issue.
Right.
But Batman shows up, and it's not much of a cliffhanger, and who knows what the proposition is.
But honestly, I mean, you could probably wrap it up. Hey, you want to go for coffee or something? You know,
yeah, I have a proposition.
It doesn't really matter. But the rest of the book is so good.
It is
excellent.
excellent.
The art is amazing. There's some great cheesecake in it.
Yeah, but I wasn't like, oh, cheesecake. It's not like I got into it because of that.
Yeah, no, I know, but still, I mean, the art is beautiful, and Batwoman is a beautiful woman, and they show that.
And the villain's real creepy.
The thing with Williams' Batwoman, they always have great villains.
Oh boy!
So I mean, if you haven't got ever experienced Batwoman and you like what you see, go back, pick up Elegy, pick up all of his run because it's all great.
It's really I'm tempted now. Of course, he has it. I'll just borrow it. Oh boy, Batman and Robin. You just talk.
This is my book of the week. Yay! Finally, an A-lister. Batman book of the week. Batman and Robin. I loved it. I loved the dynamic between Batman and his son Damian, who is the current Robin. I know you were asking me about if I was going to be okay with the fact that
spoilers sprinkle.
Batman is trying to change a little bit of his
reaction
to
coming in from the outside into a Batman book for the first time in a long time. What I know about Batman is that he's Batman because of what happened to his parents, and in this book, he's trying to move on past the thing that made him Batman, past visiting his parents' site of their death every year, holding on to the Mask of Zorro program, generally being connected to that event, and he's like, you know what, it's time to move on past that. I guess it is, but that's what made him Batman, so that's kind of what I'm...
Right, and I guess what this is, I mean, I have been very lucky as a Batman fan the last couple of years. Grant Morrison has really done a great job making Batman feel new and different and taking familiar concepts and kind of turning them on their head. And Tomasi here does a great job because it's still Batman, but now it's actually his son. And he's creating, he's doing these things because he feels like there's something wrong with his son. That Damian was raised by the League of Assassins and is probably grumpier than even he is. And what he's trying to do is be a good dad. What would a good father want for his son? And that's to be, a well-rounded human being.
Well, and I think there's just a taste of this from what we saw in Night of Vengeance in the Flashpoint mini, where what would a good father want? A good father would want his son to turn out better than him.
Right. And
I think Bruce can see Damian already far past being worse than him. Right. So he wants it, like, you gotta come with me, I gotta show you. It's, it's the dark and brooding Batman and the wisecracking Robin, and then it was the dark and brooding Robin and the wisecracking Batman for a while, because Dick was Batman.
Yeah.
But now you're like dark and brooding Robin and dark and brooding Batman, who does not want his son turning out like him?
Right. And I think that where Tomasi's strength is showing that Bruce actually has hope for his son. And when people talk about Batman, a lot of times they talk about it's this boy who has certain stunted development, where he can't get past that night.
Right.
And I find it, as a reader and a fan, a very good decision to make. The reason why he wants to put it behind him is for his own son.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, Batman and Robin is this week's book of the week.
Yeah, pick it up. It's a good shot. Our next book is Grifter. One of the Wildstorm characters come over to DC.
Which we actually know really nothing
We
about.
don't really know much about. I might know one of the Gen 13 kids because I read Gail Simo's mini run on Gen 13 a while ago. Don't know a whole lot about Grifter, although from what I understand, Grifter is one of the most beloved Wildstorm characters.
From what we understand.
But I really don't know much. Great, you know what? Great first issue. You get to meet the guy, meet what he was before he becomes Grifter. There's aliens, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think this might be a book that we disagree on, like just in terms of
Well, it was overall, it's a good intro story to a character that a lot of people maybe don't know anything about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe my expectations about what Grifter is kind of hampered my liking of the book. I mean, from the cover, you've got this cool-looking character. He's
Things, guns,
double gun in it, shooting.
And to play along with you for a second, none of this happens in the book.
Right.
There's no shooting. There's no thing. There are aliens. There's a guy. He does fall.
When I think of Grifter, I thought like more of like an action adventure book. You know.
Right.
And I mean, hey, that's my expectations on the book, having not known anything about the character. Overall, I felt it very familiar in terms of the story. I mean, I've seen that before. I watched it during Cowboys and Aliens, kind of like in the movies this summer, where he's being tested upon. I mean, he even has a cowboy type hat on.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mind it, but I didn't like it.
There's enough familiarity to it that it might get people to read it again. He's got crazy chops like Wolverine.
Right.
He's got guns like the Punisher.
I felt that it was a retread of a lot of different characters.
Right.
And I didn't find something that grabbed me as, I want to come back to Grifter.
Yeah, me too, although I can see it as a good intro story.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that too. Again, it's like, this is the guy from Wildstorm. And I'm like, this is the guy? This is the guy.
Yes, actually.
This is the guy. Really?
Really? Okay, I agree. So, not so much on Grifter.
Not so much on Grifter.
Now it's time for Red Tornado Watch. There is no Red Tornado in this week's comics. So let's do our top 6 for the week. I'll start off.
Okay.
We might have a lot the same. Definitely, if you were listening and liked what I said, grab Demon Knights, grab Batwoman, grab Green Lantern, Frankenstein, Resurrection Man, and my book of the week, Mr. Terrific. It's terrific.
And I feel you on a lot of those books. A lot of them are similar. I do have Mr. Terrific. I have Deathstroke. Again, not the greatest book. It's not a work of art, but I had a lot of fun reading it, and he's got a lot of great lines.
Nothing wrong with comics being fun.
Exactly. I have Batwoman as well. Again, this is just continuing great work from Williams. Go out, pick up all the other back issues if you like this one, because it's more of the same, and it's more of the same great. Green Lantern, again, are we all lanterned out? No, this book was amazing, and I'm looking forward to the future Green Lantern. Movie still sucked. Frankenstein, Agent of Shade, great book. And my book of the week, Batman and Robin. Tomasi, in his run on Batman and Robin before the relaunch, gave us the ejectable bat ears into the face of a villain, which I thought was amazing, and he does not disappoint with this.
I might have to see that.
You have to see it. It's amazing. So again, thanks for tuning in. We're going to do this every week, where we review every single one of the DC New Universe.
It's probably going to kill us.
Especially I, Vampire.
Thanks, Silver Snail, for our demise.